Okay, go guys.
So, what did you think of last night, the veto? And
We have not received any veto messages yet from the governor.
what do you think of it, though, overall, though, the fact that you will eventually see this, and is it feasible any kind of an override?
Once we pass a revenue bill, we will take it up in conference and make a determination as to whether we'll move an override.
Mr. Speaker, has there been any discussion at all with the governor at this point
Staffs have been meeting.
on the vetoes?
No, on the overall budget.
Mr. Speaker, have any of your members raised concerns about the reappropriated member items being vetoed?
No.
Sir, your Republican colleagues in the Senate have indicated that they will not support any overrides. Doesn't that create a problem?
I only deal with the New York State Assembly. Okay.
But what's the point of you overriding if then it fails in the other house?
Talk is cheap.
Speaker, were you disappointed, I assume, with last night?
I would expect that the governor would have done what he did. Wasn't surprising to me. I was disappointed because I believe we have a commitment to children in this state for education, and this governor has been talking about property tax relief, and he, with the stroke of his pen, vetoed property tax relief.
Mr. Speaker, the governor again pushed the issue of a contingency plan. He mentioned that several other states have already enacted their own contingency plans for FMAP. Have you changed your mind? Are you willing to negotiate with the governor on a plan?
We have a responsibility here. I have no problem dealing with the issue when the issue is before us. I think if you look at the track record, we have been there. Last year on the DRP, we were here. I was with the governor. I supported taking action on a deficit reduction plan. I think it's wrong of us to go to Washington and say, we'd like to have the money, but if we don't have the money, if you don't give it to us, we can handle it on our own.
Shelley, do you have any sort of strategy for how this is going to all get resolved, or is it just going to end with a thud this session?
I am only one of three parties. My Assembly Democratic Conference is one player, the Senate Conference is another player, and the governor is another player.
So what is it you want?
I want a budget for this state. I want a budget that addresses educating children, that addresses the issue of opportunity in this state for children to get a college education as we've always provided, and provide the means. We have done that. The framing of this issue suddenly about FMAP is only since the governor was told he won't do some of his issues that have nothing to do with the budget, like putting SUNY budgets offline, like charging exorbitant without TAP reimbursement tuitions for SUNY, having nothing to do with a balanced budget in this state. Suddenly, these issues have come to the forefront in the excuse of FMAP.
Thanks, everybody. We got to go. So you mentioned that budget negotiations are going on between the staffs.
That's correct.
What topics are being tackled?
All of the issues that are out there, no secrets.
So school
aid, property tax, how we deal with higher education in this state.
Mr. Speaker, we got to go, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Would you start the override process even if it was uncertain how the Senate might handle this? Would you start as a matter
If my conference determines that's what we do, that's what this conference does.
Amendments were made to the revenue bill. What sort of amendments were made last night, which is why you can't vote on it today?
There are several amendments. The major amendment was the issue of recognizing out-of-state marriages for purposes of New York State taxes. We have a bill on that. That bill will advance in this House, and we'll determine what happens in the Senate.
Thanks, everybody. We got to go.
How do you feel about a pilot program of SUNY tuition flexibility for Buffalo and Stony Brook?
It's again, you're taking opportunity from children under the way that they want it. So it doesn't matter whether it's 2 schools, 10 schools, it's the same story. I'm not adverse to doing a reasonable, modest adjustment to the tuition if the poorest students who are eligible for TAP are reimbursed in the normal manner that they now are. And number 2, more importantly, if it goes to the university to make the courses available to those students. There's no guarantee in either of the plans that the state will maintain its effort to the universities to provide education. It's not in any of the proposals. It's not in the bills. And when I spoke to the governor, I said to him, we can agree to a modest increase on two conditions. One, if you raise the TAP cap to include the new cap, the new tuition, which would exceed the cap, and two, if you would put a maintenance of effort provision, so if the university's got $100 or $200, which amounted to $10 or $15 million, that the state didn't pull it out from the state's support of it. That's been the history. We have told students the university will be better, pay a little more, and then for purposes, all of their little more has gone to budget relief, not to make those universities better, not to add programs to the universities, not to make courses available, and not to handle more students at the universities.
Okay, everyone.